Tonight's episode of One Shots from the Meowing Portal is brought to you by Dubby Energy Drink. Dubby is the affordable, great tasting, all day energy supplement that won't give you the jitters. Visit dubby.gg and use the code BrainySentMe at checkout for 10% off of your online order. Hello, cats and kittens, felines and felidae, humans and variant humans, and every race, class, and subclass. Welcome to this hellacious episode of One Shots from the Meowing Portal. Hellacious, not even really a word. I mean, maybe a word, but not particularly a religious or a doctoral word. And so we're going to get started with that in a minute. But first, let's go ahead and let's meet our crew once again. So here we have Gabe Knight 00 as Autodoc Blue 37.
Hi there. Good evening. How's it going?
Not bad. I mean, not hellaciously. Maybe that's the word that should be using. Not hellacious.
Very good.
All right.
Not hellacious.
Mm-hmm. And so we also have Maryn Mermaid as Maryn Corlanth.
Hello, welcome in.
Mm-hmm. And also Mimi Bunny, Shy Bunny Servant on Twitter as QB.
Hello, everyone. Been a while, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. So tonight's episode is going to be a little bit more staged. We are not going to be working with maps. We are going to be in theater of the mind mostly throughout this piece. And it is really just to kind of work on a lot of the dramatic undertones of what is unfolding among our characters. So we should be really happy tonight because we are raising the theatrical level of the show.
Oh, ho, ho.
Right. Adding even more acting into our acting, I see.
Yeah, precisely. You know,
sounds titillating.
I get ready to win like 100 Golden Globes after that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you better watch out, Simpsons. I'm going to come after all of your Emmys after this.
Mm-hmm. All of your Emmys and all of your Golden Globes, of which I assume there are twice as much. But not necessarily 100.
Most likely.
Awards belong to us.
All your
all
awards.
Your awards belong to us.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's get started with tonight's episode, Maryn's Inferno, a one-shot from the Meowing Portal. We begin in Brainy's chamber, and as usual, Brainy is up with at the blackboard trying to teach QB a new magic trick. He says, QB takes off his hat, holds it in front of him. So today we are going to learn the most basic trick every Denarian wizard knows. We are going to learn conjuration. So first,
looks kind of confused by the word. Just the fact that it's kind of big and all.
Mm-hmm. So conjuration. He takes the time in order to write out the letters in chalk on the blackboard. So conjuration is the ability to make something out of nothing. And the easiest way to do that is to pull it out of your hat. So, first thing, you should take off your hat.
Hearing this, Cuvee kind of just stops, like all of a sudden, and he just looks at Brainy and he says, "Maybe no hat."
You want to pull something out of no hat?
Cuvee nods and says, "At least not Cuvee's."
All right. Well, if you're not comfortable with using your hat, do you have a purse? Do you have a bag? Do you have anything of that sort of nature?
Cuvee actually does have another kind of ragged sack that he has.
Okay, so I want you to take out that bag and I want you to think about things that you already own. You know, maybe something really, really personal like a toy, or maybe something like that you can really just picture perfectly in your head.
Cuvee is still pretty confused about this and still he's pretty much looking in the bag. He's almost got his entire bag head in the bag. It's like bag squared. or he pretty much, but yeah, no, he just it turns out that in the bag it's just some bones and mind you, one dead rat,
Mm.
and
Okay.
it is kind of covered in some kind of a white threads, but you can't really tell what exactly it is.
You're going to need to empty that. I immediately regret saying that.
Cuvee, he quickly pulls the bag closed and says, "No, Cuvee, save for later." And he's putting the stuff that was in the bag back in. And
Okay. Do you have something else? Do you have a? Do you perhaps have another bag, one that you don't mind keeping empty?
uh, Cuvee kind of looks and just kind of contemplating, and pretty much he says, "No."
Are you feeling okay?
Cuvee just looks kind of he's looking kind of nervous, like he really doesn't want to you know, empty a bag. Egg says, "Cuvee, fine. Cuvee, Cuvee won't. Uh, Cuvee need no bag. Cuvee don't need bag."
But
And
you're
so
going to
he's
need
kind
a
of
bag if you do. Okay, I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. Maryn,
Hmm?
I
Yes?
think it might be time for the little one's nap.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm. As that probably a little bit overstimulated by this new concept. So, I believe, yeah, that, yeah, I think we left his bedtime stuffy. I have it over there on my work desk.
All right, well, I'll just take it with me to the cellar then. He's a little bit particular about beds and things.
Yeah, well, if it isn't just some massive hay pile or the big piles of barley bags that are in the basement of the cat's pajamas inn.
All right. So Marin walks over towards Cube.
Hmm.
You
seeing
tired, buddy?
Maryn coming over, or he goes over to her and kind of holds her hand.
She gives a little gentle squeeze. You ready to go to bed? We can learn some more magic tricks here in a bit, all right?
Cuvee nods.
All right. Let's go to bed, okay?
Cuvee nods again and pretty much follows Maryn to go back down to the cellar.
And so she also stops by the work desk in order to get the stuffy, and she notices that on the work desk there is just a tiny little green pod.
Huh. Must be one of Cube's things. I'll just put it in my pocket for now.
No. That's actually mine.
Oh,
Yeah, it's an edamame pod, and it carries in it my faith in my patron goddess Dinah.
huh. I never really hear you talk about deities much.
Well,
At this point, Otto chimes in. That seems to be a very curious place to keep one's faith.
well, it's actually part of the entire outfit. You see, whenever a wizard of Dinah, goddess of all knowledge, is ready to graduate, he is asked to put the entirety of his faith into the shape of a plant. And so I got few bonus points when I graduated because I managed to fit my faith into the tiniest plant that I possibly can, and it happens to be that edamame pod.
Oh, Marin just kind of takes a look around, like just gently cradling it, but kind of looking in closely.
Otto also hunches over, and you can see his eyes are focusing on the edamame pod, and he sticks out a big mechanical finger to poke at it.
Careful.
Yeah, and Cuve's just not really caring,
Aw.
as usual. He's just is eager to go back down to the cellar.
Well,
So Brainian goes, "What would happen if it ruptured?"
Well, we actually don't know yet. As I said, is other Denarians tend to transform their faith into like whole potted plants, miniature palms, that sort of thing. I may well have the only one that's handheld. Supposedly, to destroy it would be giving in to your absolute naked and undying faith in the goddess, which is something that I don't think anybody around here even wants to experiment with.
understandable.
So we are
I mean,
thinkers as Denarian wizards. We are people of vast, immortal amounts of intellect.
so you still have faith, but it also encourages being self-sufficient, I believe is the word.
Precisely, as we always get out of every jam that we're in by using our heads.
Interesting. I guess that is a little bit similar to Pontanus.
Well,
I really should have called a favor in last week with the cake incident, but I. If he did answer, he probably would have just laughed at me.
yeah,
Cuve's
it's
just still Cuve's just looking around, just confused by all this detail they seem to be going into about their gods or whatever. Yeah, he doesn't really get why there's so much complexity about everything.
well, I could venture to explain it to you a little bit more, QB, but I think nap time should absolutely come first.
Oh, right. What did you want me to do with this pod?
You know, I have just the tiniest feeling. I think that maybe you should hold on to it.
Huh. No pressure or anything. I
Ah,
mean, this is just your faith.
oh, well, no pressure at all. I mean, I understand that your magic is completely based on your faith.
Huh? Yeah, I got a point there.
It makes a great lot more sense that you were to carry the little bit of extra faith with you, because you would actually know how to deploy it in the right situation.
Well, if you say so. So Maryn opens up her bag and she puts it inside one of the little compartments. She closes the bag. Well, I already got guardianship with me. Might as well add a little bit of knowledge, huh?
Oh, that reminds me of something else. I'll
Hmm?
go ahead and put QB down, and then I have something very important to talk to you immediately afterwards.
Oh, right. All right. So she just kind of ushers Cube along
And
to the cellar.
Cube pretty much such nonchalantly goes goes like down into the dark, musty cellar.
Man, this place is so dry.
And hearing that, Cube replies, "Yeah, really good for Cube."
Hey, yeah, really good for Cube. Not good for me. But if you're fine down here, then she kind of leads over to, I don't know, hay pile,
Well,
wherever he sleeps.
actually, Cube kind of gets down from Maryn's hold, and he looks around a little bit, and he just decides to just clamber up into who one of the wine barrel racks, and yeah, he's just chilling in there.
Oh, huh. I always forget about the more spider-like qualities you have.
Cuban just
Well,
kind of ignores that, and honestly, he doesn't even really seem bothered for any padding at all. he's just completely fine, like, of being, like, right in there, or, like, if he himself was a wine barrel.
Well, if you're comfy. Good night, QB. She
Gives him a
pats on
little,
top of his head.
yeah,
Yeah,
Otto gives
Cuba's
him a
nice and
little
asleep down there
pat.
in the cellar.
And with that, Maryn makes way to Brainy's chamber again, trying to just figure out what exactly the news is.
So Brady is standing over his workbench. Um, at his size is that he has to stand on top of his stool, and it's just from the stool that he's able to reach a regular sized workbench. He has a book open, and you immediately recognize the book. It's one of the journals of Ignis Inglethorpe.
And this immediately holds Maryn's attention. She goes over and she tries to look over, seeing what the journal has in store.
So I've been looking at all of the journals that we had managed to get from Merchant Island when we had that little spat with the Archduke.
Mm.
So I kept thinking about the riddle that Jolly Roger had given us. He had said that the last journal, the missing journal in this set, was spirited away to a place that was even beyond his own power.
What do you think he meant by that?
Well, I think that he might have meant that wherever the journal was spirited away, that Ignis might have left any clues to those whereabouts inside of his other journals. And so I poured through this one, and every once in a while I found something really, really peculiar, as every one of the little ink typesetted letters in the journal was actually in a different font. You can see that the entirety of the journal is printed in serif, but this one letter is sans serif, and I circled it.
Maryn tries to read, but she hardly can tell the difference. She just has her eyes squinted, trying to read the lines.
So I worked for 4 or 5 days, and I admit I probably lost a little bit of sleep, but after going through the entirety of the journals and circling all the letters, I came up with this, and he opens up just a scroll of parchment across the workbench. And so I believe that this combination is a perfect set of portal coordinates.
Portal coordinates?
Yes. I think that once we punch this into the Meowing portal, we'll be able to be transported to the location of the missing journal.
Oh, okay. Man, and they just put QB back to bed too. I suppose it could wait. I mean, I waited this long. Maryn's just kind of going back and forth, pacing. She's kind of beside herself.
Have you tested it, Brainy? Do you know if these coordinates actually lead anywhere?
Well, suffices to say, I definitely don't want to test it on my own. Going into a portal blindly can be very dangerous. You have no idea where you're going to end up on the other side.
Good. That's where we come in.
Yeah, precisely. Hopefully, this won't be too terribly strenuous. Assuming that this may well just end up being the hiding place of Maryn's wayward mentor.
Maryn's just kind of deep in thought, still pacing.
So he looks over at his shoulder at Maryn, and he whispers on his side to Otto, is that I know that she's been waiting for a very long time in order to find the answer to this. I'm certainly hoping that this actually might end up being the answer, and not another wild goose chase like we experienced in the Merchants.
I do not recall any geese, wild or domestic, at the market when we. And Otto kind of trails off. But no, I also hope that this is the end of her search. She has quested long and deserves an end and a satisfying conclusion to her long journey.
Yeah, I hope so too. And so, in the amount of time it takes for QB to wake up from his nap and then come back to the chamber, everybody is standing in front of the portal.
Hey, QB, you have a good nap?
And so yeah, Cuvee is pretty much with the others. He and it signs that he's gotten some more food, but specifically some kind of meat as usual.
Because I certainly hope that he's getting all of that from the mess hall.
It's best if you don't question it.
Well, nor did I with the bones that are in his satchel.
Otto,
Wait, what?
Never mind. Okay, QB, are you ready to go through the portal?
Cuvee nods as he pretty much finishes off whatever it was he was eating.
All right, so everybody get ready.
Maryn just kind of steals her nerves, looking on into the portal, just anticipating what's coming next.
Otto twirls anomaly corrector.
Yeah, and Cuvee is pretty much on edge. Like he will be prepared if anything bad happens the second they go through.
Okay,
But then
here goes.
again, sorry.
No.
But then again, his every single strategy is to like attack.
Okay, here goes potentially everything. And they step through the portal. They step out and they emerge in this place surrounded by red rocks, glowing from massive amounts of pools of lava, just large tunnels made out of volcanic rock. It is hot as blazes in here, and extremely dry, 10 times more dry than the cellar.
Otto leans in to Maryn and says, "Isn't your friend a member of your species?"
Seeing all this high temperature area, Cuvee practically leaps off the ground and practically he scrambles up on Otto like if the floor was literally lava, even though it's really not.
Does what he can to pat Cube and comfort him there, and then looks
Although
to
he's
Maryn.
practically on your shoulders.
Right.
Maryn is just throat is just immediately dry. She is not having a good time. He's more like a cousin species.
Seems like a very hostile environment to you. Would it be equally hostile to him? Biologically speaking.
Shaking, he's also not having a good time. Not as bad at a time as Varen, but still, yeah, he is also not looking great. Like he's shaking and he is absolutely terrified to touch any part or the walls or anything that could possibly be like scorching hot.
So Brainy is just standing there. He is wide-eyed. He is a statue. You can see his tail is completely straightened out from his back.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be here.
Holy hell, we're in crap. I mean, well, okay, we are in an infernal realm, but we're in the infernal realm of any number of random dimensions.
What?
This is really bad. We should probably pull out of this immediately. He turns around and he starts uh, putting his paws up on the adjacent wall, which is usually where the return portal is.
Oh, wait, Brady, don't!
Plus,
Wouldn't it burn?
so Noel, he's patting his hands against the wall. No, it's not here.
What?
I
What do
mean,
you mean
it's
it's not
Pretty-
here?
pretty shocked at
perfectly
this.
solid wall, but the return portal isn't against the wall that we came in.
It's against the wall.
No.
Is it?
No.
See, we're trapped. I was afraid something like this would happen. This is always what happens when somebody goes into a portal blind.
Oh.
If this is always what happens, why don't we have someone like an intern or something that we can send through these portals to investigate these before we go?
Who do you think you're talking to? You are talking to the would-be intern of the Wizards of Dinah.
Brainy?
Cuvea pretty much pipes up. Brainy, not intern.
Brainy. What happened to that ruby that Lord Terrapin used to have?
I would assume that it would still be with your uncle.
Oh. Right. Did no one think to grab it beforehand?
I suppose we didn't.
No, we did not.
Yeah, Cuvea shakes his head.
Okay. That's fine. This is fine. We'll find a way out of this.
Take a moment to take a drink out of your magic conch. I'm sure that will help you with the complete and total lack of precipitation.
I'll do you one better. So she uses the conch. She's immediately coughing and sputtering, and it's a very dry cough. And she uses the orb of water that she has summoned, and she has placed it around her head. So immediately, her gills and her fins are more hydrated. The water is still warm, but there is at least a little bit of moisture. Even her voice ends up being a little bit muffled.
Been there, done that.
Better. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Otto gives a thumbs up.
Might take
Cuvea
a little
nods
bit.
as well.
It might take a second or two in order for that to get a little bit more second nature. I know this one from experience.
Yeah, this is fine. I mean, it's a little bit weird to be on land and in water at the same time, but I'll make it work.
All right, so I think we might only have one option here. We're going to have to explore the realm, and we are going to have to find the journal.
Oh dear. If you guys need me to summon more water, let me know. This is pretty bad.
Cuvea, he nods as he looks to be like having a bit of a hard time breathing. Not really as bad as the mare, but still, yeah, he's having a bit of breathing trouble. Well,
Um,
Of course, indifferent to all of this temperature-related shenanigans.
you might want to lift your mask up just over your mouth, QB. I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of things here that might be even scarier than you.
hearing this, Cuvea actually does like look around a bit before he actually does lift up his bag just a little bit, and despite what everybody thinks, there doesn't really seem to be a mouth at all. Sure, there are like some creases in it, but as of right now, not really a visual mouth.
Huh. Wasn't sure what I was expecting, but it wasn't that.
and right then Cube starts panting again, which pretty much what was a blank slate, like practically open up like some kind of strange box or door hinges, and practically it shows what looks to be a pair of mandibles holes that come apart at the jaw, along with a mouth filled with a few but sharp teeth, and the flesh of the inside of the mouth is purple of all things, and a dripping thing with some kind of strange lavender saliva. His tongue hangs there, trying to filter out as much heat as he can.
Maryn immediately runs over and just,
Cube, you okay?
Cube kind of pants a bit, but kind of looks away, and the mandibles do start to move as Cube talks. Cube's fine, and as Cube is not having the bag over his head, you can hear that there is some more of a hiss behind anything he says other than that. But yeah.
And kind of pokes at the mandible and says, "I would not have guessed."
And in response to the poke, he kind of does mandible kind of does move away. It seems like each in each individual mandible moves independently.
Maryn turns to Otto.
Just, how are you handling this heat? Aren't you literally made of metal?
I have no nerve endings.
Then I should keep an eye on you as well. Unless you have a coolant system.
I've never run into a situation where my heat tolerances were tested to this degree. I guess we'll find out if this is problematic.
Alright, if the automated voice says anything, then I'll know to grab some water. Is everybody ready?
I think the heat is the least that we're going to have to worry about.
Cube nods.
Okay, so one very important rule about going through an infernal realm. Don't accept an offer from anybody that you see. Infernal realms are full of individuals like imps and demons, and every single one of them wants a soul contract.
Lovely.
Cube
Okay,
kind
no,
of hears and kind of pipes up a bit, and they can't. Cube already working.
as that's a very important travel tip for this realm. Only make deals if it doesn't involve a soul contract.
So, all right, moving in. And
Moving in.
slowly start to go down the tunnel, and as we move forward, it does become a little bit more like what we would expect. There is just lots of tall stalagmites of spires that are holding up entire walls, very narrow platform passages that kind of spiral down as everything goes further underground. Just a strange mixture of darkness and just a very bright light that is emanating from small pools of magma on the floor.
Cube kind of looks around a bit, and it seems like he actually does recognize the place of being similar to his home, but of course not the same.
Mm-hmm. So Kiwi immediately looks down, and there is a small toy car.
Cube is confused by this, and he kind of hisses a little bit at the sight of something so odd at a place like this.
Say, a few feet in front of that is a yo-yo.
Cube's Kyubey's still looking a little more curious than anything.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of pokes one of them a little bit too, and then immediately like it jumps back in case like it is a trap.
So Brainy turns around and sees QB jumping around, but he lowers his gaze and he doesn't see anything on the ground.
What the?
Say,
Maryn is a bit distracted by her surroundings.
say,
She starts looking around and she tries to ask, so, calling is a really weird language. What's the difference between stalagmites and stalactites and even... Brainy? What's that?
QB, just don't be playing around by yourself. You gotta stick together around here.
Kyubey,
Kyubey looks
come on
over at
over
Otto and he says, but look, thing.
Looks, and I
What?
presume he sees nothing as well. Otto looks, and does he see anything?
No, he doesn't see anything either.
Cube, I don't see what you're indicating. Please clarify. Please point to the object.
And he pretty much like points like at like this strange trail of what appears to be like children and toys or whatever, or but if they can't see either, then it would just be like he's pointing at nothing.
Okay. QB turns around and points. He turns around and points, and then just immediately from the directly behind him, everything is completely black. The other three aren't there.
Huh?
Oh no.
Cube is pretty shocked, and he said as kind of softly like or confused at first. He says, "Brainy," and he looks around more frantically, and he starts to kind of panic a bit, as and he's just starts calling the names of everybody, like trying to find any signs of them at all.
Say, Brainy? What's a brainy? Har. And so suddenly, this figure is here. It looks like a dog. Has a skull emblem on the front of his head, and is wearing a black cloak and a red bandana.
Cube he actually stops panicking for a second, and he just like stares at this strange dog person.
I'm sorry, did you get lost down here?
Cube does a nod.
Okay, I know something about getting lost. I know that if you get lost, what you need to do is you need to stay where you are until someone finds you, right?
Cube is kind of thinking, but he looks kind of distracted a bit.
So, well, I know something else. Is that I'm someone else, and I found you.
Cube kind of looks a bit skeptical. Oh, but you're not with Cube when came here.
Well, no, because I'm from here.
Cube kind of gets a little more standoffish, but for some reason he's not going full violence. And Brainy say do not. Brainy said be careful around others from here.
Say, well, who's Brainy, and why did he say that?
And he does, and he he looks like he was about to say something, but he stops himself thinking about how and everything and what kind of situation this even is. Is Cube says don't matter. Let Cube find Cube's friends.
But I will help you. Uh, don't worry. You don't have to say anything to me. Let's just go over to my room, and we will wait there for your friends to show up.
Kive actually, Kive does like actually kind of go down and kind of uh, agrees with, and he kind of does go along with everything, but he's but when he's near this strange dog person, and he actually does something on, he starts rubbing his this dog's head.
I say, hey, what's that? And you feel his ear twitch under your arm, under your hand while you're
Kive,
petting him.
Kive actually yeah, isn't frightened by this, and for more or less, he actually does like that, and he kind of keeps like petting it.
I say, ooh, this is pretty good. And he lowers himself onto his haunches, and he tilts his head towards QB's hand.
He also holds this dog's paw, and he also starts to kind of feel that too. He just kind of likes the feel of this dog's like a fur, and he is kind of happy to see someone just be willing to help him.
This is strange. This what they call pet the dog? This is pet the dog. And
Juve kind of responds like, "Dunno, Juve just happy to find a new friend."
his his friend. And he's patting the dog, and at this point, he's rolled over completely on his side. He's kicking one leg in the air.
And Juve's giving him a whole bunch of belly rubs. He's actually pretty happy at this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I said, yes. No. Come to my room. Come to my room right now. And he dashes off.
Juve kind of surprised by this sudden like knee, like what looked like he seemed to like be hesitating with something, and he decides to go and follow him.
Mm-hmm. And so QB follows him and is basically just led into a room. And the room basically just looks like this, just all sorts of different kinds of piles of junk all over the floor. Lots of things, lots of very interesting things, strange things that, some of it is rather modern, but certainly not something that would have existed in Metaluna.
Juve is pretty intrigued by all these things, but he kind of hesitates on being near them and everything.
So here, look at this. I have so many things. This is my room full of all of the things I found.
Oh, Cuvée actually does recognize the kind of design of these things, and he mentions, "Oh, Cuvée see these earlier."
Yeah. You've seen things just like these? Says I have them, and I have so many more, but they're underneath all the other things. And he starts to dig with it with his he starts to dig with his hands.
Cuvée kind of looks like kind of an entertained child, just seeing this doggo person act being like a doggo.
So somewhere here, I was beginning to build a cart, and so right here is the chassis, and then over here are the wheels. But then I got another wheel yesterday, and he points across the room against the wall. I said,
Cuvée kind of looks over.
So while we're waiting for your friends, we can put on the wheel. Yeah, put on the wheel.
Cuvée kind of goes along with this, but he still wants to like ask some more questions. He does feel a little bit safer just like being with this dog person. But like he still really wants to find his friends.
Mm-hmm.
He actually does ask this dog first, is saying, why were your things in that tunnel?"
Yep. The things in my tunnel. Oh, It's just, I probably should have brought them to my room, but I haven't brought them to my room. Yeah.
Kive ponders that, and then asks, "Who are you?"
uh, my name is Havoc. Yeah, Havoc. Havoc. I live here. I live here with the boss.
Cuvee, so Cuvee does is kind of taking notice on that boss thing, but Cuvee does say Cuvee is Cuvee, hey, but who boss?
Uh, boss doesn't like seeing my room. Boss really doesn't like the mess. Doesn't like the mess in my room.
Cuvee looks around and say, "Well, why?" Hey, Cuvee don't see reason.
I don't know why. Hey, do you like what's in my room?
Cuvee nods.
Oh, I like that you like what's in my room. And he's wagging.
Yeah, and Cuvee actually brought over the wheel Havoc mentioned, and
Mm-hmm. Oh, very good. Okay, very good. So you're gonna hold this here, and then I'm going to put the bolts in. Her.
uh-huh. Cuvee nods enthusiastically, and he holds it in place while Havoc gets to work. And and Cuvee is still like uh, like confused about the whole boss thing and why he doesn't like the room at all. Oh, and Cuvee says, if boss don't make you happy, I work for boss.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's because there's no one else.
Cuvee he kind of responds with, Cuvee no, plenty others. Cuvee works for own boss.
So, other people here are not real. Other people are not real. But Havoc is real.
Cuvee kind of touches Havoc again, like petting him again. And
That's a,
Cuvee real, see?
oh,
Real
that's
Cuvee.
a petting. The petting. Petting is so good. And he does the exact same thing. He starts laying on his side and he starts kicking his leg again.
And Cuvee says while petting him, Cuvee's friends real. Cuvee's friends come from different and place that is real.
It's this real place. Sounds good. I've never known another place that has other people. I only know these things.
Cuvee nods and he keeps talking about the world what he's done with like his friends, and he mentions and if you if help find if Havoc find help find friend Cuvee's friends, maybe you could come with us.
Yes, we can do that. We can go. We can find your friends, and then we can find a way out. Say,
Cuvee is happy he at this and he kind of holds out for Havoc's paws. He wants to go look for his friends right away.
okay. Find the other wheel. Find the other wheel for the cart.
Okay.
Wait, cart. Find another wheel for the cart. Need 4 wheels, and then 4 wheels cart. We'll help find your friends, and then we'll help you take out the realm. And then he goes into another pile, and he starts digging again.
All right, Cuvee is also digging, although with him it looks more like he's kind of slipping under for the piles of junk and pretty much coming out with some of the wheels. He's got like 2 more,
Mm-hmm.
or his weird little hands.
Okay, so we'll go back from here, back into the tunnels.
All right.
Okay, Brainy, Maryn, and Otto are still together.
Okay, so like in our perspective, it's just Cube vanishes or something.
Yeah, it seems like that.
Maryn is frantic, trying to look around because it just looks like he disappeared into thin air.
I was warning him not to wander off.
Anything. Otto's like looking behind anything that, Cube might have disappeared behind. Any features on the wall, like any kind of anything, right? Look behind the stalagmite, just anything that Cube might have disappeared behind.
I told him not to wander off.
Maryn's hands are just completely combing through her hair. You can hear her yell in complete frustration. Bubbles rising to the top of her little reverse bubble for her water.
A Sandy Cheek style helmet, but for the reversal.
No kidding.
That's totally
Time this has happened.
Well, it happens so often because QB wanders off all of the time.
I should have been holding his hand. I should have taken it seriously when he was wandering off.
You can't blame yourself. It's him. This is exactly the thing that they warn us about when we train to be Denarian wizards.
He's not a wizard. He's just a kid.
Well, say, if he was a wizard, then he really wouldn't get himself in jams like this. So that's why I try to teach him.
Oh, no. No. Okay. We found him before. We'll find him again. This is fine. There's gotta be some sort of clues or something that we can work with.
I don't doubt that he is making a ruckus all the way up some hellacious portal. Hellacious, is that a word?
Yeah.
So Otto is looking behind the rocks.
Yes.
So he pushes over, in between a couple of just tall pillars, and there's a little imp there.
I grab the imp.
Ah!
And I lift him up, and I say, look at what I found.
Well, you turn around, and other than the two pillars that you just walked behind, it's dark.
Uh-oh.
Man, brainy? Question mark.
Okay.
Say, Brainy, I don't think you'd worry about something like that. I mean, you're just a heater, aren't you?
I am most assuredly not a heater.
I don't understand why they would have any machine around here that wasn't a heater. And so he reaches forward, even though that he's been grabbed, and he opens up Otto's chest plate.
He just opens it, like he pries it open.
Yeah,
like
he just reaches out with his hand and he opens it in the middle.
Otto tries to grab him again and prevent him from doing anything else with his chest plate.
So he slams a chest plate himself, and then he hops out of Otto's hand, and he's on the ground again. So, no, wait, I know. I've heard about stuff like this before. Okay, you're a hero.
Generally.
Yes, you're a hero. So you must be down here looking for some treasure, right?
I am here looking for a being named River. He is a friend of my friend Maryn.
River. That sounds familiar.
You've heard of this river?
I think I have. I think I read about it in a book.
Tell me more.
So, yeah, in the book, they were talking about a bunch of people who were sailing in a ship, and they were running from a lot of scary pirates, and one of the men happened to be named River.
Sounds very much like something I would be interested in seeing.
Oh.
Tell me, little friend, do you know where it is?
Where the book is?
Yes.
The book. Okay, so I'll show you. And so he takes Otto by just one of his middle fingers, and he starts to pull him. And
I'll ask him to pull. And what are we coming up to? Oh, that don't look good.
Mm-hmm. So, at the other end of this maze is where I saw the book. It's rested on a little pillar.
Do you know the way?
Well, no, it's been a long time. But it doesn't matter because you're a hero, right?
Otto says with some reservation. What's your name, little friend?
My name is Impaz.
Empez.
Yeah. For some reason, I always find myself in between moral conflicts between heroes. And that's why I found you, because you're probably a hero.
I'm a hero.
Yeah, you are a hero. And I am afraid we are at an impasse.
An Empez. Ah.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you something else. Why do you want this book?
It will help us find my friend's friend River.
Oh, so you have another friend who wants to find this friend.
Yes, I am helping her find her friend.
Well, like I said, it's at the other end of the maze. It's got to be in there somewhere.
How tall are the walls to this? We're in this maze that we're in.
Mm-hmm. I say that it would reach the very top of your head.
Can I climb to the top of the wall and get a view like what is being pictured here in this illustration?
Yeah, so you can just very easily do that. Stand at the top of your toes, look over at the top of the maze, and you just kind of see more maze that stretches on for miles and miles into the distance.
Which direction did you say the other side of the maze is now?
Well, I mean, it would be the other side of the maze. It is the maze, and then the direction is the other side of the maze.
All right.
This is strange. I mean,
so?
every time I ever met a hero before, I know that they wanted to do the right thing, and the right thing would be finding this book for your friend, right?
Yes, that would be the right thing.
Yes, so then you should go, and you should do the right thing, and you should find the book, and you should bring it back to your friend.
Yeah.
Say, hurry now.
Go. Let's go.
We don't want to spend too much time down here. And I know you don't want to let your friend down, do you?
I do not.
No, you do not want to let your friend down. So let's go. Let's go into the maze.
Otto wants to just do a real quick look all the way around and make sure that there's nothing noteworthy or important on this side of the labyrinth before he goes and, ends up unable to access anything that he's nearby right now.
Mm-hmm. As far as you can see, is that, there's the front of the maze and you're standing in front of it, and then the rest of the maze continues to travel on very, very far into the distance.
Able to travel by way of the upper wall? Do I have the physical coordination it would take to run along the upper wall instead of in the trenches, as it were?
Yeah. Okay. Well, go. You reach up with your arms to the top of the wall,
mm-hmm.
and then you climb up,
mm-hmm.
and then you're standing on top of the wall, and so there's a very, very thin gap that you're standing on top of.
Am I capable of balancing along it?
Yeah, you're currently stepping on. You're currently stepping on top of it.
Okay, so that will be how Otto chooses to travel to the other side of the labyrinth. Will be along the upper wall as opposed to in the trenches. Then, if that's an option.
Okay, so Impaz goes into the maze the regular way. And so currently, you're just walking over the top half of the maze.
And keeping an eye on Impus, of course.
Just clearing the gap the whole way.
Yep.
As you're moving forward. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So we return to the tunnel, and only Maryn and Brainy are here.
You can see Maryn struggling to breathe, not just because the heat is starting to get to her, but because of the fact that now Otto is gone too.
So look, refresh that bubble around you. Okay, pull out the conch and refresh the bubble around you, because I think that one might have just completely run out of oxygen.
So Maryn does so again. The water sends chills down her spine because it's a sudden change in temperature. Okay. So you have to promise you won't split up with me.
I promise I won't split up with you.
Okay. So that's 2 of them gone.
Yeah, I'm afraid, this has gone completely off of the rails at this point.
Do we have a way of contacting Bosch at all, too? This is a disaster.
Well, fortunately, I would only be able to contact Bosch if the return portal was still open.
Of course.
Just look, we will come to a conclusion about this. We just need to keep our wits about us. No distractions, nothing but pure, straight logic, all of the way to wherever the journal might be.
Even if we don't find the journal, I just want to find the others and go back home.
But we're not going to be able to get home without the journal. See, this is precisely what I'm talking about.
Right.
Let's not deviate. Deviate just the little tiniest bit, and we might find ourselves lost just like the other 2. So, Brainy starts to trot forward.
Maryn is paranoid at this point, and she is looking around to make sure there's no sort of distractions, no sorts of traps, nothing.
Say, hey there, you look like a pretty bright fellow. Do you think you might be interested in the game of chess? Brainy just freezes in place. Did you say chess?
Brainy, please!
Say, my name is Mog. I am the master of games.
You can't be serious.
Well, hang on a second. There might be something to this. So, listen, Mog, we would like to play this little game of chance with you, but it's a little bit more. We're in a little bit of a hurry. We're looking for our lost friends, and we're also looking for a lost journal. Journal? That journal is mine. I would be willing to give it to you if you were able to beat me in this game of chess.
Maryn is seeing that this is an obvious trap. Brainy, you don't have to do this.
But what if he's telling the truth? What if he actually has a journal?
And what if he's just lying? You said not to make any deals with anyone.
I guess you're right. I'm sorry, Master of Games, but I'm afraid that the answer is no. We'll go ahead and we'll figure this out on our own. Thank you very much.
And Maryn is just absolutely relieved.
Yes. I'm so glad that you're here, Maryn. This is precisely what I mean when I say that you are I absolutely trust your ability to be faithful. Say, under no circumstances should I ever deviate from your very level-headed knowledge and understanding of other people's emotions. And while Brainy begins pontificating like this,
no,
Maryn just feels this a gigantic hand reach out and grab her and pulls her once again, just pulls her out of where the light is and just into the complete darkness. See, and therefore, that is why I do absolutely honor you and your contributions to this team. And Brady turns around and Maryn isn't there. Hey, Mog, do you happen to know where my friend went? And he said, yes. If you beat me in this game, I will tell you exactly where she went.
Typical.
Brady says, well, I guess I really don't have a choice this time. And he steps up to the chessboard. All right. So, Maryn is pulled away from all of the fire and the rock, and she finds herself in a very unique room. Is that the way that the light glows in this room, it's almost golden. And there is a being sitting on top of a golden throne. He is a being that has an enormous amount of red, lightly furred skin, covered with blackened fur across his chest and his arms and his tails. He has golden hooves and he has golden claws, and he has a pair of just 3 free-floating eyes that don't really even seem to be attached to any kind of head, just floating above his neck across a triplicate of diamondite shapes and a pair of free-floating horns.
Maryn stares on, trying to find her wits' end to all of this. To the room, to the being in front of her, what's going on. She knows she can't just be rash as much as she wants to lash out.
And so immediately you hear, no, don't get excited.
You can't tell me what to do.
Oh, pardon me. I'm so used to the people around here that I am always seem to be telling people what to do. So you'll forgive my rudeness in that respect. He reaches backwards into his throne and he pulls out a brown cigar. So he lights it with a fingertip and then he puts it in front of his face and it just seems to be free floating. Just directly in front of him as he smokes.
Maryn just kind of does a double take, wondering where the mouth is, if there's a means of him to even breathe in a cigar. Crunkles her nose at how bad it smells.
Yeah, I know. You can't get anything other than fire and brimstone down here. All right. Sorry about all of the misbegottenness and hullabaloo. I mean, that's really just kind of par of the course for a realm like this one.
Maryn is still cautious as ever. Right. Speaking of hullabaloo, what is this all about?
Well, I mean, it's simply that you and your friends came into the realm. So it's my obligation to try to steal their souls. Nothing personal, just business. This, that, and the other.
Well, a soul is a very personal possession.
Oh, yeah, you would actually think so. Excuse me. Just, I think I backwashed a little bit on that one.
Maryn even coughs a little bit. Right.
You know, it's the kind of thing that we thrive on. Creatures of invertebrate hell necessary in order to feast on the weaknesses of mortals, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada.
So this is the part where you try to make a deal.
Ah, I knew that you were the smart one. So I have been watching you. Well, which, comes as no surprise. And you just kind of see him lift his fingers towards all 3 of his eyeballs. I happen to hear what your little cat friend said when he told you when you first walked into our realm. He had said that any deal that you take around here is going to lead into a soul contract.
Rather sound advice, huh?
I swear to God, I'm gonna quit next week. It takes the cigar out, and then he just snuffs it off on the arm of his chair. Well, it is a good idea, but unfortunately, it's a little bit old-fashioned. You see, these days, you don't steal a soul using a soul contract. It's much more easier to allow human nature to be the tool that you use.
And then what do you do if none of the people are human? Hmm?
Well, that's just the problem, that these people are human. When people are human, they have flaws, they have frailties, they have weaknesses. And eventually, the longer a human lives, the longer he's going to end up doing the one thing that is going to damn them to an eternity down here. And that's precisely what your three friends did. Here, come over here a little bit. Come over here by the throne. See, you see the crystal ball in front of me. I know you know what those look like, because I'm pretty sure your cat friend uses them too.
Maryn does not confirm nor deny.
Okay, so check this out. Okay, say, here is your friend QB.
QB.
So I took the time in order to put him with the only other damn soul that has existed in this chamber and time immortal. He has a nasty habit of collecting a whole bunch of really strange crap.
Maryn looks on at the really strange crap. Seeing Cube dig through everything, digging underneath, and digging into the piles coming up on the other side.
Yeah, there's a whole wonderland of things that he has never seen in his realm or any realm. But that really doesn't matter. Your young friend there doesn't like to do anything except dig in the garbage.
Maryn immediately takes personal offense to this. He's just a kid. Kids do what they like doing best, and they like getting dirty.
Yeah, but obviously not as much as your friend. Otherwise, he wouldn't have just made palsies with my demon dog. Now, I'm a little bit iffy when it comes to eternity in this situation. But if you look at that pile of garbage, I would say that looks like an eternity to me.
No. If that's the case, then he needs to get out of there.
Yeah, but it probably will never occur to him as long as there's just one little doodad that he's going to continue to play with. So, there you are. Check and mate. Oh, and speaking of checkmate, here's where your friend Brady is. Is closing on Brady, playing the game with Mog. And he says, okay, well, I'm going to move the pawn 2 forward at the beginning of the match, and moves the pawn 2 spaces forward. And Log says, no, today happens to be Tuesday, and on Tuesday, we are only allowed to move the pawns 1 space at a time. And Brady says, okay, I'll go ahead and I will take that back. And I will put this pawn 1 space directly ahead of him. Immediately afterwards, he says, no, you cannot lead with that piece while playing in this turn. And Brady takes it back and says, I don't understand all of the strange customs around here. Usually a game of chess, has one strict definition. And he says, no, you must know how to play the game correctly. If you do not know how to play the game correctly, then there's no way that you can win. And he says, okay, well, then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to move the... I'm going to go ahead and move the knight ahead of the pawns, and then I am going to go ahead and I'm going to put it on this square. And he says, no, knights don't move that way down here. So, the being on the throne says, you see that? Your friend is only capable of living in a world where the rules make sense. The one thing that will ultimately damn him is the fact that down here the rules don't matter.
Maryn still isn't completely convinced, but Brady's always been a logical sort of person. The rules are there for a reason, aren't they?
That's just it. You mortals are always so wrapped up in the belief that everything needs to be fair. Whereas people in our realm know that fairness is a complete and total illusion, just like the illusion that your friend is playing in right now.
She looks on. She just looks on at the increasing rules of the game and how he's just completely stuck, not even making a move, just constantly finding one pawn he can move. Only he has to move it back.
Mm-hmm. And Brainy, at one point, he does get very frustrated and he goes, and he slaps all of the pawns off of the table. They appear immediately on the table again.
She's never seen him that frustrated before in her life, and she's just a little bit concerned.
Oh, and let's not forget about your friend Otto. He thought that he could game my little maze, but regrettably, that maze will continue to go on for an eternity, even if he decides to walk up the top of the walls. Okay, Joey.
Otto is looking down at Empaz and says, "How much further to the other side of this?"
Oh, not much further. Not much further.
You've been saying that for a while now, little friend. Is there maybe... why don't you come up here with me and point me toward a landmark and tell me something that's going to stand out that I can be walking toward?
All right, I'll give it a try. And he scuttles up the wall too, and he's sitting there right next to you. And he says, "Okay, well, so after you, well, no, that's not right. If you keep, yeah, and then you turn, no, that leads into a corner. Then, gosh, it's been such a long time. I've already forgot."
How long has it been since you've seen that book?
Oh, 300, 500 years, give or take a century.
See. Where else does this maze connect to?
Well, no, actually, we had that removed. So across from the, gosh, well, I've already forgotten what's on the other side.
And Otto is trying to kind of sort out, is there any discernible landmarks or anything that, jump out? I mean, is it all just labyrinth with nothing on the horizon, or like, what are we looking at here?
I mean, yeah, it does continue just to look like a labyrinth that goes ahead with nothing on the horizon. Oh, but come on. I know that you can make it to the other side because you're the hero, right? You don't want to let your friend Maryn down, do you?
I do not want to let my friend Maryn down. Um, at this point, Otto is scanning with. He has a couple of advanced vision powers, and he's going to see what his mechanical eyes can tell him about his surroundings.
I mean, so he looks forward with his mechanical eyes, and it doesn't show any difference. It just shows more. It just shows the same image of the maze in front of him.
Hmm. Okay.
I know it looks tough, but it's what heroes do, isn't it?
Picks up Empaz and holds him very, very tight.
He goes.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He goes. Ah ah.
Empaz, I'm going to need you to remember better than you have been remembering, little friend.
Okay, sure. Why not? Okay, just let me go. I think I can lead you. I think I can continue to lead you forward.
I'm going to put him in my chest cavity.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so just keep going forward. Okay, just probably hang a left over at the side where that hook is, and he continues, just to give him instructions from while inside his chest hatch.
Gotcha.
So the being on the throne laughs again. Some days I forget that there really is no end to that maze, because even if there was, that imp wouldn't know the exit to it.
Otto.
Well, what did I tell you? Everybody likes to build their own cage. You're a little different, aren't you? I couldn't capture you with petty little tricks like this.
Maryn looks on, skeptical and still just a little bit cautious about everything.
So, after all, you are a Coralanthian, aren't you? Say, Coralanthians are an entire race of priests and priestesses.
I wouldn't say that you're wrong.
Worshippers of Pontonus, the gods of the sea. It's a distinct honor. It almost makes me feel bad that I have to end up keeping it so hot down here.
Huh. Well.
As a matter of fact, let me rectify that for a second. He points up to the ceiling, and it's just really drops of very cool rain start to fall from the ceiling.
And finally, Maryn lets go of the vat of water around her head.
Mm-hmm.
It all falls down, and her clothes are soaked, save for the waterproof bag.
Mm-hmm. Say, little better, isn't it?
Slightly.
Okay. So, as cliche as it is at this point, I'm willing to offer you a deal.
Joke's on you. I know better.
Oh, no. I don't want your soul.
What?
Say, hear this out. Pass or fail. You have every right to say yes or no. He reaches out from behind himself and he pulls out the missing journal. You know that it is because it looks exactly like the other books.
Maryn's eyes are just completely wide.
Say the Journal of Ignis Inglethorpe. This is what brought you down here.
And how do I know this isn't just another trick?
Well, because I'm giving it right to you. And as soon as the moment that he says that, he takes the book and he puts it right into her hands.
Sorry.
Sorry. Just a trinket, really. I don't understand why the Order of the Black Spot likes to throw their trash down here.
What? Them too?
Well, they're me worshippers. Hate to think that someone like Potnus ends up getting all of the good worshippers and I end up getting all the losers.
She bites her tongue, having her fair share of experience with them. Right.
So, first part of my deal is that if you so choose, I'll go ahead and I will return you to your home dimension. And you can take the book, and you can go and look for this long-lost friend of yours.
What about the others?
Well, they stay here, and they continue to live out their eternities.
Maryn places the book down gently, and she takes a step back. How is that supposed to be a fair barter?
Well, I mean, it's probably as simple as a barter that there could ever be, because, quite honestly, at this point that they're stuck here, there's no reason that they're ever going to figure out the way out of their own cage.
But 3 souls for the price of 1 isn't worth it either.
Okay. We're still in the middle of negotiations. Okay, here's part 2 of my deal. I let you go. I let your friends go. I give you the book. But do you really think that the book is going to immediately lead you to this wayward friend?
What are you implying?
I have the power to take you right to him.
You do?
Mm-hmm. And I will give you absolutely everything you want in this arrangement. I will call off the black spot. I will bring him directly to you in Metalunith. The 2 of you will become more than friends, and you will marry, and you will build a shrine and several monuments to a new god who will bring an era of perfect peace throughout all of the realm of Prebistera.
Maryn once again does like a double take, internally just thinking, wait, who said anything about marriage?
What, you don't like marriage? I thought all mortals like marriage.
But what? Are you just assuming that because a girl and a guy are friends that automatically means marriage is predestined?
I would assume that you went this far in order to find him.
Well, yes, but I only ever knew him for a couple of months.
Well, so at any rate, the deal still stands. Of course, there's a little matter of renouncing your current god so that you may accept your new one.
What?
Worship me, Maryn, and bring worshippers of me across the mortal realms, and I will give you everything that you desire.
Maryn runs a hand through her hair, and part of it just kind of tangles at a knot from when she previously had her hands run through. Okay. Yeah. Oh boy. So, as it rains, she sits on the ground. She has a couple of choices. The one that can free her is one that she isn't willing to take, but she can't go against her own faith as well. And yet, at the same time, she still needs to find a way for even one of them to get out. She's just sitting there in the pouring rain, and her body is just trying to cover the journal while she thinks through a plan.
All right. And what will Maryn decide now that she carries the fate of all of her friends and the ascension of what is clearly an infernal god on her shoulders? We will find that out in the second half of tonight's game. For the meantime, it's a good time for absolutely everybody to take a break, drink some water, do a little bit of stretch, and then we will come back with the conclusion of Maryn's Inferno. Okay, so we'll be right back. I will see you back in a moment with the other half of tonight's stream. Thank you, everybody, for... Hello, everyone. Brainy the RPG Cat here for a Dubby Energy Drink. You know, when you're a hardworking gamer, tabletop player, VTuber, or a magical cat wizard for the multiverse, you know you need a little help getting the boost that you need for your concentration. A boost that you know that you won't get with sugar and artificial flavors. That's why I forgo the endorsement of certain other well-known energy drink powders, endorsed by some hedgehog, and go with Dubby Energy Drink. Dubby's main ingredient is all-natural Arabica plant extract. It contains essential amino acids, including taurine, and essential vitamins, including B12. And it doesn't give you the caffeine shakes, which is handy when your gaming requires some decent Twitch skills. Best of all, if you go to w.gg and use the code BrainySentMe at checkout, W will give you 10% off of your online order. So, for the magic potion that will sharpen your playing skills, head to w.gg and say Brainy sent me. Okay, we're back. When we last left off, our party member, Maryn, was faced with a very difficult decision. Brady, Otto, and QB have all been locked up in their own personal versions of darkness and temptation that may lead them to their destruction. However, the headmaster of this particular infernal realm has given her the bargain of taking her back to her wayward friend River, releasing her friends, in exchange that she become his godly patron in the mortal realm. So come on, angelfish, I'm waiting. I don't have all
You should do
day.
that kind of nickname gives you the willies.
I mean, actually, technically, I do have all eternity, but I think you understand my meaning.
I think so. Yeah. She stares at the book. She looks at the crystal ball. And she looks back at the book. So either betray her friends or betray her god. He's been the foundation from her birth. He's been everything she's ever known. It wouldn't be worth giving that up for one person. But neither would be selling out her friends.
Ah, sticks and stones, potato, potato. Like I said, you would have ended up in this kind of gambit anyway. Because I understand how people behave. Nobody ever breaks their own gambit.
She thinks, too. She tries to think hard, tries to think for a little while. She looks back, even with Brainy in the background, trying so hard to understand the rules, trying
Okay.
to play his own
This
game.
is not a month that belongs with an R with it. I should be able to move that piece.
I guess even he's got his struggles going on, so it's just... Even then, she always thought he was... She always thought that he was just as smart, maybe even smarter than her. Why is this all up to her? Why is she either having to test her knowledge or test her own faith? Oh. That's it. She lowers her face for a little bit more, hoping to just kind of hide the realization she's just had. But she stands up, and she picks up the book and walks towards the infernal demon.
Yes?
I think I've made my choice.
I couldn't be happier to hear that. Okay, so what's it gonna be?
But if I choose to leave them here, would you promise that I'd get to say goodbye?
Oh, we're still going for the noble outcome. How touching. All right, I'll let you say goodbye. But I'll only let you say goodbye to one of your friends.
I understand.
Who means the most to you? I mean, that's probably, I have to admit, curiosity has gotten the better of me.
In truth, all of them are equally valuable to her. However, the one that she ends up picking, well, truthfully, all of them are rather valuable, but I think it's best if I just speak to my boss about this. He'll be able to explain it to the rest.
Okay, fair enough. So, he snaps his fingers, and Maryn is in the same room, filled with an omniscient amount of chessboards, with Brainy and Mog. So you can see that Brainy has actually managed to advance one of his pieces. It's a pawn. It's 2 spaces ahead in the middle, but he hasn't been able to get any further.
Brainy!
Maryn?
I didn't know if I'd see you guys again.
Oh,
Can you time out?
he looks over to Mog, and he says, "Oh yeah, sure, why not?" So Brainy hops off of the table, turns around, looks up at Maryn.
So, this isn't going to be easy to say, she says. But this is the only choice I can possibly make.
Well, if it's the only choice that you can possibly make, then you should make it, right? I mean, that's why I started playing this fakakta game.
There is just an absolute look of betrayal on her own face. She is completely torn within herself. of a way of going back, but I don't know if I can bring the rest of you along. So the only other choice I had was renouncing Pontanus. If I did that, then we would have been expected to follow in this realm's example and worship their god.
I see.
I know. But I can always head back. I could try to talk to Vosh. I could talk to my uncle.
Look,
Maybe there'd be a way of...
It's all right. I've always trusted you to make the right decision.
I know.
And I had no doubt that you will come back to us in the exact same way that you have been looking for River the entirety of the time that we've known each other.
Maryn just kind of looks away, batting away tears just from the sheer fact of it already being 5 years and there's nothing besides these journals.
Mm-hmm.
Before I go, she opens her bag and she takes out the little pod and places it in Brainy's paw. I wanted to say that I'm sorry. I didn't have the knowledge, and I didn't have the faith to do anything else. I hope that you can forgive me and learn to also have some faith in yourself. She closes the pod around his paw, hoping that he'd understand what she means by this.
You know, I think you may be right. This is precisely the moment when I should try exercising a little faith, and he snaps the pot in half immediately. Everything goes white. When everything clears again, you find yourselves in front of a beautiful ranch-style house, surrounded by lots of delicate flowers. And all four of you are here. Brainy, QB, Maryn, and Otto, all standing in front of this house.
Looks around and says, Empaths?
He looks
Cube
into his
is
chest.
also looking around pretty confused, but after realizing where he is, he kind of looks a little dejected.
So Impaz isn't in Otto's chest cavity, and Havoc doesn't seem to have come with him. It's just the four of them standing there.
Maryn doesn't even think for a moment. She just goes over, grabs Cube, spins him around, and grabs Otto in for a hug.
Cube was initially shocked by this sudden contact, but seeing that it was just there, and he's really happy to see her and pretty much everyone else.
I didn't think I'd see you guys again.
Otto is like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad to see you all. I was with this horrible little creature and I was in a labyrinth. And he kind of, trails off explaining, his ordeal.
Says, wow, this adventure really turned thematic 180.
It's a welcome change.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you've all made it.
Hmm?
Oh, yeah, yes. Come in. And so the door swings open in the ranch-style house, and you just barely see the image of what looks like to be an old woman dashing back into the house.
Brainy, where did you take us?
I'm not entirely sure, but compared to where we are, I would say that it is a welcome diversion. And yeah, you see Brady just scamper up the porch and then walk into the house.
Maryn sets Cube down and she walks in as well.
Yeah, Kyubey promptly follows everyone else.
Otto comes in and brings up the rear and, has to bend down to enter the doorway and everything.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you walk in, and so just almost immediately, lots of really good smells coming from the kitchen. And the kitchen also happens to be the main room and directly on the other side of the door. So the old lady turns around, is holding a tea kettle in one hand and cookies on the other, and says, "Oh, you guys are just in time for tea."
It's literally a little cat lady.
Oh, well, it's so nice of you to notice. You all are just in time for tea. Toddles over and really just, a woman of a cat size puts cookies in the tea kettle up on the table, pushes them forward slightly. And said, "I just made fresh ginger snaps."
Otto leans in.
Take a few sniffs of said ginger snaps and does start to eat one. It does seem that the only other thing that Kyubey will eat besides the meat is sugar.
Otto leans into Brainy and whispers, "Are you familiar with this talking feline?"
I'm sorry, miss. I don't believe you got your name. She says, "I'm Dinah."
She doesn't think for a second, just, "Oh, well, Dinah is a lovely name. It's really kind of you to take us in such short notice."
Brady immediately prostrates himself. "I am not worthy."
Kyubey looks is looking at Brady kind of confused while he's still just eating his fair share of ginger snaps.
Is thinking quietly to himself, but you can see the gears churning and the steam kind of coming out of his ears while he's considering the situation.
Maryn is the second to catch on, her face flushing purple, and she just also stands up straight, just, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize."
Oh, don't worry about it. It's been ages since I've gotten any visitors. Here.
Realization dawns on Otto, and he goes, "It's not just a religious name, it is the..." Oh. And Otto also bows, but any more like a at court as opposed to at the feet of a deity.
Oh, come along. Please sit. Your tea is getting cold.
Yeah, Kyubey's the only one who still hasn't changed anything. Even if it does, whether you think he still hasn't catch on or has still caught on, he's still acting pretty casual.
So Brady eventually, just regains his composure. He sits down. He pulls up the cup of tea. Do the other Denarians know? I'm pretty sure that Bosch does. I couldn't say anything about any of the other ones. Not as faithful as they should be, which is a shame.
Yes, it is a shame. We had our own run-ins on what faith can do. She looks over to Cube and just kind of remembering Mazelthod literally coming back to life.
Yeah, that was a whole pretty much reincarnation, rebirth thing. You saw the birth of the an entire world. whole realm. Yeah,
Say,
yeah.
faith has the power to do many wonderful things, dearie. It has the power to move mountains. It has the power to change hearts. It's a shame that so many people these days don't even really believe in such things. But I'm glad that you have. Pours Maryn her cup of tea. It is
Oh.
thanks to you that this Denarian managed to come back to me. I never thought I would see the cat that he was destined to become. Not since I birthed him and put him in a basket in the land of Primistera.
Maryn looks over, just some of this being kind of new information for her. So she looks over at Brainy.
Cube, hearing this, also kind of turns his head towards Brainy too.
Laughs, and he says, "This being is humorous, Brainy. It sounds almost as if she's saying that she's your. Wait,
Holy cat of God, she's my mother. Or, holy mother of God, she's my cat. It works both ways."
Cat mama.
Well, maybe not in the terms that most who haven't ascended understand, but I think you have the basic idea.
Cube, pretty much hearing this, he's pretty much thinking, and like he's just like thinking, and like kind of confused, but then he kind of connects the dots and say, "Hey, Brainy's mama."
Out of the mouths of babes. Well, anyways, you have succeeded in becoming the very first Denarian to actually give in to the prospect of faith. And as a result of that, I owe you something. And so she turns back around and reaches over on her kitchen counter. She grabs an object and she puts it in front of Brainy and pushes it forward. It's a small deck of cards. Oh, wow. A tarot deck. But I'm a wizard of conjuration. I don't know anything about divination.
Cube actually does kind of recognize how some of those look, and he seems a little bit intrigued in them, almost as if he actually does know what to do.
Don't worry about them. I know that eventually you'll get the hang of them.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're the goddess of knowledge, then isn't knowledge a continual pursuit?
Well, it's a continual pursuit, and I have to say my Brainy has definitely done an admirable job with it. However, I think that you understand as well as anybody that we can't always come up with the right answers for everything. Sometimes we have to give in to what is directly before us.
And Maryn just kind of thinks back to the pod.
And she scoops the tea kettle and the cookie plate up, and he says, "Okay, well, don't have much time for all of this. We're on a schedule. Spit spot."
Schedule?
And then everything immediately goes white. So, Brainy, Brainy and Maryn find themselves once again in the chess room, and Mog is still standing there. Says to them, "You guys just spaced out for a second. I was still waiting for the other end of timeout. I would assume that you're probably 15 minutes late for timeout. That's a penalty. You're going to have to move all of your pieces back to the front."
Maryn just kind of looks around confused. Everyone was just here a second ago.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think we were actually transported out of anywhere. I think we might have just had a vision. Although, Brady takes off his hat, rifles around in it, and he pulls out the deck of tarot cards.
What are you gonna do?
A different kind of magic. A magic where I'll have absolutely no idea where the outcome is. And he starts shuffling the cards. All right, here goes nothing. Okay, he pulls the Six of Wands. Say, the Six of Wands creates. So the Six of he just begins to say this out loud. The Six of Wands, passion, energy, action, certainty, spell of fire, and he reaches forward, and you see just an enormous amount of blades of fire shoot out of the front of the card. Yeah,
Maryn scoots back.
It surrounds the demon, and it keeps him welded up in a cage of fire. I say, okay, let's make a break for it. And they start to just take off in a direction. As soon as they take off in a direction, they find themselves in the tunnel again. Okay, Maryn, where to now? Say, use the power of faith. Pontanus has got a protection. Where can we be safely led?
Where can we be safely led? I don't know. What do your cards say?
Okay, let me give it a try again. Begin shuffling the deck again.
There's two other rooms. One of them had a labyrinth, and the other one was just filled with useless junk.
Okay, useless junk. He pulls a card. Say, what did I not see before? Well, what was it that I did not see that QB saw? So he pulls he pulls the Priestess card. Okay, Priestess, the card of intuition, self-wisdom, and mystery. And then as soon as he pulls the card, they see the toys on the floor. Okay, that way.
Oh, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Dash down the hallway. Eventually find themselves in the room that they were. And so, at this point, Havoc has already finished building the go-kart. Okay, so,
Yeah.
How is it? Okay, QB, get in the cart. Get in the cart. We'll go ahead and we'll run after him, and we'll find your friends.
Yeah, Kive, nods, and he gets in the car with Havoc.
Kiwi, wait!
Kive stops a sec, and he turns around, and he's surprised to see them there, and surprisingly, he doesn't just run up by himself. He actually grabs Havoc's paw and leads him over her to him and to her and Brainy. Yeah, and he actually looks pretty happy to be with everyone involved here.
Hmm? Did you make... Oh, right, you made a friend. That's right.
This is, you made a friend with a hellhound.
Yeah, Cuvee nods and starts explaining things. This is pretty much that.
No. This time, QB, I promise, I 100% accept this. I am 100% behind you in whatever it is you did, and I'm not going to be even the tiniest bit mad at you about it.
seeing this sudden change about this, Cuvee is really happy and holding Havoc's hand, he says, "Havoc, the new friend is Havoc."
Okay. Well, it's very good to meet you, Havoc. This is an awful nice machine that you made here. So, oh yeah, made it from my everything that I just found lying behind. Found it laying around. Found it laying everywhere.
She takes a
Okay.
look. The go-kart has 4 seats.
Well, if you don't mind, why don't you ride us out of here and we'll go find our friend Otto. I says, sure, right away. And so everybody piles in with Havoc behind the wheel.
Oh no.
And they start
You
to
wouldn't teach a dog to drive.
so they start to tear off and they're driving wildly, and sometimes as they're going through the tunnel, they sometimes ride up the sides of the tunnel and then go around in the corners over areas that don't have any scaffolding of them and are just above pits of lava. And everybody's
Super
holding
Havoc
on tight. Yeah, super Havoc
sweet
card.
word, man.
And so eventually they find themselves in front of the maze.
Okay. Maryn is not tall enough to see. Actually,
Wait, hold
nobody
on.
is.
No,
So,
me too.
Cuvee, you know what to do.
Yeah, Cuvee, nods and pretty much starts, or climbs up the walls and begins skittering to look for Otto. He still remembers the stuff from his medal while he was clinging on to him from earlier. So, yeah.
So Brainy hops out of the car and he shouts, Otto!
Oh
We're all over here!
Can Otto hear this?
Yes, Otto can hear this.
Can I climb up to the top of the wall and look and see where the sound is coming from, or identify where the sound is coming from?
Yeah, you can do
Or
that
do
easily.
they?
All right, so Otto climbs up to the top and would probably spot Cubey right away. And Otto then much more skillfully and dexterously than you would anticipate a being of his make and model and size would be capable of, bounds over to where Cubey is.
Oh, okay. Well, Cuvee, he kind of takes Otto's hand and is friends are gonna get out of here with new friend, and Cuvee kind of activates his gauntlets, but more in the spider leg form, and he uses those to help pick up Otto while he makes his way back thanks to his shadow claws. Was acting as a lead.
Surprised to be getting picked up, but goes with it and is like, oh, well, that's new. That's really neat, Cubey.
Otto hears a voice from his chest. It's Impaz. He says, but wait, what about letting your friend down?
Pretty much hearing this voice, Cuvee kind of shouts, "Friend right here!"
Oh, crap.
You were...
Otto opens up the chest and grabs Impaz and says, it's been fun, little friend, but my other friends have arrived and it is time for me to go.
I say, you're not really my friend.
And pretty much, Cuvee, pretty much, Cuvee looks at Impasse and said, "As you weren't real. You were never real."
And he looks shocked at Cubey, and then Impaz just suddenly disappears.
Cuvee,
Yes.
after her doing that, Cuvee turns to everyone else and said, "New friend taught me that."
So, if Impaz isn't real, then that means the labyrinth isn't real either?
Poof.
Yeah, poof, the labyrinth disappears as well. And so that at the end of just this very long and wide section of the ground, everybody sees where the exit portal is.
Oh. Well, we need to run while we still can.
Let's say, well, who needs to run? We have wheels.
Ah.
For it be. And Havoc puts pedal to the metal, and they immediately start driving the go-kart in the direction of the exit.
Maryn is just holding Cube on for dear life so he doesn't fly out, since there's only 4 seats at this point.
Well, thanks to him, he's got this wall cry, so pretty much he literally can't.
Okay, then fine. Roll reversal. She's hanging on to him for dear life.
So when they zoom, and as they zoom, you see like shards of the background starting to pour up into the sky, and the ground around them begin to crumble out at the sides. And as the last desperate movement, you see a couple of large red clawed arms try to reach down towards the portal. But then the car zooms all the way through the portal, and the portal closes before the arms can close in on them.
Okay.
And so, back in Brainy's chamber, the go-kart immediately crashes into the adjacent wall. Several books start to rain down from the sky.
Yeah, but one of them pretty much falls on Cube's head in like a comical way.
Mm-hmm. So Brainy claws his way out of the side of the car. He lands on the library floor, and he begins kissing the floor.
Yeah, Cube pretty much gets back up like he just like came back from the dead, and but yeah, overall he just shakes it off. He's fine. He's all
Maryn
good.
stumbles around. Is everyone okay?
Better than okay. Best ride ever.
Yeah, have it with us.
Yes.
He pulls a book from his chest cavity and says, this. Do you do Dewey Decimal or alphabetical, Brainy?
We'll worry about that later.
Look.
I'm a
The
bit
journal!
more... You go over, you reach into your bag to where you might have had the journal, and it's still there.
She hugs it and spins it around. She thinks for a sec. The book drops out of her hand. Oh no.
What do you mean?
I
no?
think... I don't think that's going to be the last we're going to ever see of that Inferno. I might have to pull a couple of strings in order to get us here. He's not going to be very happy.
Well, if he's not going to be happy, we have the ability to stop him. That's the one thing I know for certain.
Yeah, well, I can say at least one other thing for certain is that we might also have the blackened spot on our trail too. Hey, just like River.
Well,
And we will deal with that as well, friend. Don't worry. We will combat these evils together, and we will remain victorious.
I think if there's one thing that we've proven is that nothing can stop us, not even the darkest, deepest, infernal pits of crap. Hey, QB, I think you might want to interest your friend in a tour of the Baron's Wasteland.
Yeah, Cube pretty much nods his brain. Is this and he's already showing havoc around under this real world.
Well, I'll have to take the time to think that Hound, too. He's at least partially the reason for our success.
Cube kind of corrects the term Hound and said is havoc. Havoc is friend.
Havoc is friend.
So, Havoc, appreciate a good head pat to her.
Otto pets Havoc.
Yeah,
Look,
Cube
Brittany.
is petting it too.
Look, Brenny, he likes head pats too.
Brainy blushes a bit at that.
While Brainy and Maryn are off to the side, too. Look, I need to apologize, too. I know it was all part of the plan, too, with the pod, but I didn't want to. I just needed to...
Don't worry about it. As I had said before, you know exactly what needs to be done with a little bit of faith.
Yeah, I think you've been learning that too.
All right. So, briefly, back in the Infernal Realm, Beasley is pacing the floor. Says, I can't believe them. How were they able to see through my illusions? How were they able to beat their own degradation? It's impossible to imagine. On the other hand, he begins to surround himself with black smoke, and then he emerges in this form. Maybe there's something to this teamwork thing. And that's the end of the episode.
Woo!
Woo!
That was awesome!
All right. So, thank you everybody once again for tuning in to another episode of One Shots from the Meowing Portal. Our next episode, Brainy and Otto go to the realm of the Pure Tongue in hopes of finding some answers about both of their pasts.
Ooh.
Ooh!
It's Ring Around the Realm, another one shot for the Meowing Portal, and that's going to take place next time. So, thank you everybody once again for tuning in. Thank you very much for my party members for joining me once again. Say goodnight. Say goodnight, Game Night 00.
Good night, Game Night 00.
All right, say goodnight, Maryn Mermaid.
Good night, Maryn Mermaid.
Okay, say goodnight, QB, and don't make it a piece of old vaudeville shtick.
Good night, good night, everybody.
Alrighty, so thank you everybody once again for tuning in. We will see you next time right here on One Shots from the Meowing Portal.
Good night.
Yeah, we'll see you all next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.